Hello everybody and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the First Descendant. I'm going to let the intro play out and then I'm going to come back.
I saw everything. The connection between two worlds. About a century ago, humans were defeated by the Vulgus. Invaders from the other world. Then came the Colossi, who destroyed everything. Humans resisted until they could no longer. Then they found hope. They were gifted the forgotten ancestors' power. Finally, they could fight with newfound strength. But another threat had emerged. Karel, the new leader of the Vulgus. His dark ambitions are driving both worlds to the brink of collapse. We must fight back. With the ancestors' power bestowed upon us. Descendant, can you hear me? I've been waiting for you.
According to the investigative core, the Ironheart is in the ruins. The assignment is simple. Bunny will collect it, while one of you protects her. So, who is going to take this on?
Alright, so we get to choose between 3 of our descendants. So we get Lapik, who's like grenade hands, fast, heavy offense. We get Ajax, who's like the sturdy defense for the whole party, and Viessa, who's like the control of the group, but has like a weak defense. And usually I pick either a really strong offense or a really strong defense. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do something different. So I went with Viessa because the control sounded a lot of fun, plus ice. So that's what I ended up going with. And I don't regret it. I mean, it's a lot of fun.
There's no Ironheart on that side either. This is the last spot. Our path's
So
been
that was
cut
our
off.
introduction
We
to
better
Bunny.
find a way around.
And basically what happens there is
Bunny, be
she's
careful.
gonna
I have a bad feeling
jump on
about
some
this.
platforms,
What?
ruin it for us, so we have to go around and fight the
Don't worry about
Vulgus,
me.
which is
I'll
the
take
enemy.
care of this.
And we get screwed out of it.
It's the Ironheart! It feels like the Ironheart is somehow calling to me. Wait, what the hell?
So after the temptation is way too strong for the main character, she gets a little antsy and just decides, hey, I'm going to touch the Ironheart, even though it's not a good idea. And so because of that, we run into the guide, who our character is madly obsessed with.
I can help humanity, Descendant.
So we get touched and die, it looked like. And
Glad
also
you're
keep her
safe.
appearance in mind, because
I won't
that's
die on
also
you.
going to be a thing
Don't
too,
worry.
what the guide looks like.
No need to brag.
But yeah,
Come
I don't know.
Let's keep going.
As soon as they started touching the Void Heart, I'm like, I don't know, man. That's not a good idea. I don't think that's what you're supposed to be doing.
Must not be
But
captured.
we have to go back through, fight our way out, which I want to say the combat is a lot of fun. I know it seems weird because I'm like, ooh, we can talk about it, but I do want to give a rundown of the first couple of things that I did. But the combat is a lot of fun. Everything feels fluid. The controls are nice, and you can adjust them to how you play. I just went with default because I didn't really see an issue with it, but you can always change it if it's not your style. But I do like the blend of like the MMO aspect with like how you have this skill tab, as well as having like your normal weapon. I think it's intuitive as far as like how the game plays. It's a lot of fun. And plus, with the ice, oh my god, man, it feels so powerful. Like, once you start getting the skills unlocked, you can literally spec out your character to your build. I was going to say build your character to your spec, so I guess it's the same thing. But it's a lot of fun. Also, I didn't know how to aim that, and I was stupid. But now we get this little bitty here.
Time has finally come.
So Pharrell is obviously the big bad, and he just laughs his fucking way out of everything after punching the fuck out of us and throwing Bunny by her bunny ears. So we have to defeat this giant Doom-esque weapon. It's pretty cool though. I do like the introduction of Pharrell. They didn't give him just like a speech or anything. He comes in and seals your victory. Like that's so, I don't know. I like that. I like that style, you know.
Lose hope, HQ. We've made contact with a guide. It's going to help us.
Keep in mind, it's been about 5 minutes, and we're already obsessed with this guide character, and it's only been 5 minutes. It's like, it's gonna help us, because they told me. It told me it's gonna help us, so I believe it. I touched the Iron Heart, and it threw me into this weird mindscape place, and I trust it. It's gonna help. So now we meet with the guide, which, okay, again, keep in mind of the appearance.
No matter what.
And then we talk to her.
To those descendants who have connected to me, thank you for answering my call. This is Albion, the last bastion of humanity. Take me to the Ancestors' facility.
A system.
And once we go back to Alpha, you'll find that he just does not like the guide. There is something about it that he just does not like.
I didn't expect you to be speaking to the guide.
So after receiving orders from Alpha, who has an affinity against the guide, we make our way to Kingston. But first, I see the section with colossal battles, and I'm like, ooh, that looks like a lot of fun. That looks like so much fun. And no, not ready for it. So we fast travel,
Please,
and
do
what
not
the
be
fuck
alarmed.
is that?
My appearance has been configured to facilitate communication. Only then can I help humanity.
And now we meet the most stone-faced motherfucker of the game so far. This dude. Yeah, so people are literally dying. He's just kind of standing there with his arms at his hips. Like, yeah, nothing is wrong. Everything's alright. It's all good. Don't worry about it. They're gonna die anyway. We're the main characters, so we survived. You know what I mean? But anyways, so we started in mid-map. What I mean by that is there were other players in the map, so I immediately had to go in guns a-blazing. You know, so I went in blasting. But we clear out this little, I guess, hotel-esque area, because that's part of the first mission. And even though there's like, you can get swarmed, it doesn't feel overbearing. Like, I went into mission, and one of the missions later in this video, I go on to a mission that's considered a hard mission, and it was, you know, still a lot of fun. I didn't really get to the section where I'm like, fuck, this is too hard, I can't do it. And I don't know, it's so free form and the combat's fluid. It's definitely a lot better than Godfall, in my opinion. Godfall was like laggy with the combat, so that made it hard to play. This is not. This is smooth. I love this. We want this. I want more of this. I'm gonna keep playing it, and I'm probably gonna do like record missions and probably record when I do the solo missions, because you can choose whether you want to do a solo mission or with the party. You can join into public events, which I do quite often. I was doing that here. After this, obviously, this is still part of like that first mission you get when you go to Kingston and get things taken care of, you know, start getting your revolution started. But after this, the footage that you're going to see is just me messing around, trying to get some levels, and trying to, you know, see what the game has to offer as far as like in and outside of story missions, and what you can and can't do, how far you can go, how much is it open world, things like that, you know, test, you know, boundaries and all that. I always like to do that in games, kind of see where my limit is at, this way I know what I can and can't do. And this is pretty open-ended. I mean, you could kind of, you know, just swing on everything. Well, not everything. I mean, obviously there's going to be a cap on some things, but at least in this section here, you can do everything that the level has to offer. You don't have to wait and come back because you can't do it or whatever. They'll drop resources, they'll drop weapons, things to like change your loadout and get your playstyle going. At a higher level, which your weapons have level 2, which is interesting in my opinion, because, I mean, they're guns. But I can understand why. I mean, it is a looter shooter, so it makes sense if you're going to have a cap on, a level cap on weapons. But even then, I mean, for most of this, I had still the stock weapons, and I didn't really notice any issue playing it. Like, I didn't feel under leveled, I didn't feel overwhelmed, and this is when I meet with some people that were just playing the game, and then we just, you know, take care of business. There was a couple missions I did went with them, like I joined in afterward, because I was just trying to grind out levels. I think by the time the video ends, I got to like level 20? Is that level 20? Yeah, I think I got a something in the mailbox for being level 20. I don't know, I can't remember. But it was just so much fun that I didn't want to stop when the mission was over for the level. I just wanted to keep going. So this is like, so there's different things you can and can't do. So right now you're defending like the supercomputer, and it's a wave of enemies, kind of like, you know, just tower defense style, you know, make sure that you have a strong defense until the timer runs out, that type of thing. But I'm glad to see that it's not all just one thing. Go through this hallway, fight an enemy. Go through that hallway, fight an enemy. There's actually different things you can do. And there's a different way you can approach it. Like, you don't have to get super guns, and you're not heavily reliant on your magic. Like, if you don't use it, you're in trouble or whatever. It doesn't feel like that. You can play it how you want to play it. I'm sure there's going to be a point where there are enemies that are more susceptible to magic than they are to bullets, but for right now, that's my experience. So, now, once everything is done in Kingston, we make our way to a separate outpost, and this is where we talk to Bunny, and she tells us her favorite thing to say.
I'll leave the Vulgus siege to you. They're starting to spread out like they own the place. All right, catch you later. Don't push yourself too hard.
Even at the beginning of the game, when she says she'll take lead, there is still a part of it that's like, well, you can handle the combat because I'm too fast for it. And it's like, if you unlock her as a Descendant, I'm sure that's how you have to play through. Like, you have to run around, you have to keep moving like that in order for it to be effective, you know what I mean? But you can unlock Bunny. You can unlock a lot of characters. I'm mad that I didn't record all the missing Descendants that you can unlock. But here we just help somebody out with this grenadier that's kind of like causing trouble, and you know, I joined the mission for that to help out. And it's cool that you can do that. It's so cool that like if you see somebody struggling or someone sees you struggling, they can just join in and help you out, and then they get all of the reward too. So there were times where I was doing stuff and people would jump in, and I'm like, hell yeah, let's get this reward, let's get that money, you know? So now this is the section that's quote unquote the hard, which there were a couple times where I'm like, ooh, things are getting dicey, but that's not till later. Like this first half here, I'm like, this ain't hard. I slap the hell out of everybody. This ain't nothing. And I don't know, I think it's just because it's so smooth that I didn't notice that there was a difficulty spike. Hell, I didn't even notice it was on hard mode until I went to the menu. And I saw that it said Into the Void hard, and I'm like, huh, I wonder why it says that. Maybe I'm under leveled, or did I choose a hard mission? I wasn't sure, but I also didn't question it too much, so I don't know, I couldn't tell you. But yeah, I got a different pistol, and I'm not a fan of the revolvers. I like the auto pistols a lot more. I thought it was going to be like that and just have like the fire blast damage behind it every now and again, but no, it was a little different. Which, yeah, you can get weapons that have certain abilities, certain attributes. Maybe sometimes they have a chance of a fire blast or electric. Like I pick up a module, which modules you can attach to your weapon. Think of them like weapon attachments, and then you can have attachments for your Descendant too. So I have one for a shock punch, so when you use the shock punch, which that's the only one of the hotkeys that I don't like, because it's L1, R1, you can't change it. I would rather it be R3 or something, like just to kind of tap while I'm looking around, but I'm not too pressed about it. I've used it quite a bit, and I think that having the different attachments, the different modules, that also helps the playstyle too. Like you can definitely use that to your advantage. Like you could use, I'm sure there's one that heals, I'm sure there's one that helps with buffs and debuffs. So it's really cool that they kind of thought of everything with it, and that's why I like it so much. It feels like everything was thought out. I can't believe this is free to play. Like this blows my mind on so many levels, because it's so fleshed out. It's such a fleshed out game. It doesn't feel like, I don't know, usually when you play some free to play games, like they just kind of feel like, nah, well, I see where this is going. Like Godfall, you had to pay for it. You had to pay for Godfall, and this blows that out the water. Like out of the water. I would play this 100 times over rather than Godfall. I didn't even want to finish Godfall. I got to a point where I'm like, yo, everything's the same. The story sucks. The story's engaging in this. Like and it's not over the top. It's not like super crazy, but it's engaging enough to where it keeps you on your heels as you're playing. So you always feel like, you know, it's right, the danger is ever present. So that's a good thing. And so that's a good thing for me, because especially in a setting like this, it makes the most sense to be like, look, we have to hurry, but there's only so much that we can do. Like, it feels like a one-player story, like a game that it wouldn't even be online play, but it is, which makes it even better. So this is the section where it gets dicey. I know I'm jumping all over, but forgive me. I've just got a lot to talk about and so little time, you know. But it gets dicey here a little bit, and I wasn't upset by it. I was just like a little bit bugging out because I'm like, oh, my shield's getting low. But that was it. It's not like I was dying. My shield was getting low, and that's when I was like, oh, what am I going to do? So again, I try to aim the ice ball thing, and I mess up on that, so we play with the
This
keyboard,
terminal also does not contain the
and
ancestors' data.
the terminal
However,
doesn't
Descendant,
contain it.
I
Sets
sent
the
the
data.
transmission
So now we
message
have our own
that is happening
little
close
grenadier
by.
to fight,
That is most
and
likely where the enemy command
those
center
claw
is
boys,
located. As the
they're
enemy
annoying.
sealed off
They
Kingsville's
just kind of
network,
run up on you wherever you're at.
transmitting data
They'll
over
run
a
behind you, whatever, because that's how they attack. So they swarm you. And this is when I thought, oh, it's over. Because my shield got halfway down. I'm like, nah, it's done, man. We have an elite. We have those tall boys around us. Those like Mr. X. We're done for. But now we made it through. Once we defeated the big guy, everybody else fell right behind him. So I wasn't too upset with that. So we pick up our loot. And then we get told that, hey, you need to get back to HQ. So we play with the keyboard again. Boop, 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 boop. And we go back to where Alpha, once again, has a big issue.
Just how much do you plan to rely on that guide?
Opportunity we've had in
So while he's upset about the whole guide being, you know, ever so present, our character gets entranced by none other than the guide, and we follow the guide out.
Trust me.
With that whole bowl of trust me, we just fall right for it, and I do my mastery rank up, which looks painful as fuck. I mean, that looks painful. And we check the mailbox, and this is where I get the, see, that's the third one down, reach level 20 reward. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool, that must be where I'm at. So that's why I'm saying I think I got to level 20. So once we clear that out, we're good to go. And also I want to make a mention that I think the game looks good too. Like, it's a gorgeous looking game. We get our Descendant rank up with this fellow here. We change our title. We get a new spawn, which I love that. I'm keeping that. Even though I'm ice, it makes no sense, but I'm going to keep it. And we upgrade our module for the shock attack, or shock punch, which is dope. But I'm so happy with it, so I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all, in 1K gang. Let's go. Play the First Descendant. It's free, goddammit.
Guide!